But yeah, I have a bit of an announcement that I want to make. In Texas, after the show, I went to train at Destination Dallas, which is like the home of. It's a dream come true for me. Just over 4 weeks out from the Germany Europa show. So we'll be heading there on September 10th. Basically, the guys, the goal from now till then is just to improve my conditioning. I mean, you guys have probably seen my posts on Instagram kind of going over what happened in Tampa, and then we had a week to improve going into Texas. Made big improvements. Luckily I had the same head judge from Tampa to Texas. I'll give you guys his feedback real quick. He said he was really impressed with the changes I made in such a short period of time. But he still said my condition could be better. He said I was probably 5%, from where I needed to be. I think I was probably 10%. In previous shows before this year, conditioning was my strong point and being full was my issue. So we kind of overcompensated that going into Tampa, came in way too full. We didn't cut water or anything like that, but we learned from that and then brought obviously a better look to Texas. But then, got the feedback we needed for Germany. I basically asked him, I was like, at the time I had 5 weeks between Texas and Germany. He said, just get as peeled as you can. And with the size I have, he said, it should be a really good competitive package. So that's our goal. So I had a meeting with my coach Dorian this morning. We kind of went over what we did and things that we could do differently moving forward. So I'm really confident in our game plan. My promise to myself moving forward is just to be the best client I can be for Dorian, stay out of his way, let him do his job, and me just execute. And that's what's going to happen. I also communicated with him that I feel like I'm an athlete that needs a little bit more instruction, and I need my coach to be harder on me in a sense that if you just leave variables up to me, like how much I pose, how much I do core work and things like that, I can get complacent with that because I'm also a very busy person. I have a business that I run. I have a lot of sponsorship obligations. So it can be easy to let those small details slide through the cracks. But at this level of bodybuilding, that's what matters. And these are the things I need to start paying attention to now. I have a lot of size, we know that. But I need to start working on bringing my waist in and fine-tuning my conditioning and my posing. And I think if I bring those things up to par, it's going to help me a lot with placings. Germany's going to be a tough show. There's heavy hitters doing that show for sure. But I'm excited to kind of get in the mix with some different guys, see how I compare to them. And with this new package, we'll see how we're going to do. But yeah, I have a bit of an announcement that I want to make. So in Texas, after the show, I went to train at Destination Dallas, which is like the home of Gasp and Better Bodies apparel, right? Gasp is like, the hardcore bodybuilding company. They've been around for a long, long time. I've been wearing Gasp ever since I started bodybuilding. So I actually got to meet the owner, Michael, there, and we got to talking. I told him how big of a fan I was. I think he was kind of impressed with my mindset and my attitude. And obviously, they look for big guys to have on their team. And he offered me a contract with Gasp. So I signed it, and now I'm a Gasp athlete. So this is one of their standard tanks. So as Gasp apparel is really good quality. Like I literally still have Gasp clothes that I've had for like 7 or 8 years that is like as good as new. It's very durable. They make it that way because they know guys who are training it are training hard, getting sweaty, and they want their clothes to be durable. So it's super high quality stuff. And I mean, if you're a hardcore bodybuilder, like that's the brand that you want to align yourself with because all of our values are the same. We think the same way. Like we live this lifestyle to the fullest. So I'm absolutely honored to be a part of the brand. Like it's a dream come true for me. That was probably the coolest thing that came out of, the last couple of weeks was getting this deal with these guys. So I'm looking forward to doing some traveling and events with them in the near future. I know they're going to be out in Germany for the show. So it's going to be cool to kind of be around some of my team members and meet some of the guys that are also part of the team. But yeah, guys, so at Gasp and Better Bodies official website, you can now use code BIGMO. Get yourself a discount on the clothes, support your boy. They have amazing stuff. They just put out a bunch of new stuff and they got more stuff coming. I know that they're bringing back some of the older stuff that they had that people really liked, especially for these upcoming winter months. So that's exciting, especially being in cold Canada. We'll be decked out in Gasp all year. So yeah, guys, check it out. And like I said, use my code if you want to order. I'd really appreciate it. So yeah, moving forward. Today we got back and biceps. Yesterday was my first workout back. I hit legs. I got a chip on my shoulder now, so I will say this as well. I tried to have a very positive mindset in my prep for Tampa and Texas, which is something I've never done for a prep before. And I think that kind of showed in my conditioning because in my previous preps, like I said, conditioning has been my strong point, and I've always had to go to a dark place to achieve that level of conditioning. And I didn't go there for Tampa and Texas. I tried to have a different approach to keep my mind in a better place. And unfortunately, I've realized that I need to kind of go back to kind of being that version of myself that can get the job done, which is, I don't really like that guy that much because it requires a different level of aggression, I think, and a different mindset to go there. But I have to. So I'll be training with a chip on my shoulder the next month. I'll be training like my life depends on it. Because in reality, there is a lot on the line here. And I'm not okay with being a middle of the pack guy. I want to be one of the top guys. I will be one of the top guys in bodybuilding. I'm going to do whatever it takes to get there. I know one thing, I keep progressing and getting better every year, so I'm just going to have to put the time in. But for the next 4 weeks, I'm going to be a ruthless motherfucker. And that's just how it's going to be. So today's the fucking day. Let's go. Yeah, so guys, just some stiff arm pull downs. You know, if you watch my back videos, you know the drill. We always warm up with these, get my muscle connection going with the lats. So just did one working set. We'll do one more, and we'll get into some like pull downs and rows and shit like that. Well, you know, those training sessions were just kind of more pump workouts and stuff like that. Like, you know, we're at that point, we're carbing up. We're just trying to move the food around, make sure it goes to the right places. So it's nice to be back here now. And, you know, I've been eating, like, I didn't go crazy after the show. Like, we went out to a couple dinners, but even when I do that, like, I become really conscious. So, like, I'll basically, like, just do protein for my other meals because I'm still 4 weeks out. Like, I'm not trying to get shit out of hand. And actually, when I came back, I got back Tuesday. Yesterday was Wednesday morning. I weighed myself. I was 287, which was a prep low, right after, like, you know, a few days of eating, like, some, like, shitty food. So actually, I went in on food yesterday pretty good. Like, I had, like, 3 donuts from Sunshine Donuts, cookies from Craig's Cookies, had sushi before bed last night, and I was, like, 293 this morning. But even now, like, I'm still flat. Like, I can feel it. Like, I'm not, like, super strong. I'm not getting super pumped. Today's my last day of, like, freedom. I got to check in with Dorian tomorrow to start the diet up. So I'll probably get, like, another off-plan meal tonight, right? And just to kind of give myself a little fill before we start, like, you know, really trying to dial in this condition more. But I'm at the point now where, like, I've been in shape for so long. My metabolism is just crazy. Like, my insulin sensitivity is so high. Anything I eat, my body's soaking up and using, right? So, yeah, we're in a good spot. We're in a good spot to do what we need to do for the conditioning, right? Yeah, so we're on to this low row. I think this machine's underrated for a low row. It moves so perfect and, like, this nice arc to kind of hit your lower lat. And as big as my lats are, I did get critiqued on them by the judge. He said I could have a bit more lower lats. But I do think that, again, like, I didn't present my back. My back was where I was holding, like, some water and a little bit of body fat. So I think once we get this bit of fat off that we need to, my back will look better and that. But at the same time, your back can never be big enough in bodybuilding, right? So we're always going to train to improve no matter what. Good there. So guys, sometimes, like, when you're doing like unilateral shit, it's okay to, like, take a little break in between each arm, right? Because even though, like, you're isolating one side, your other side is still tense to keep yourself in position to do the side that you're working. So give yourself maybe 30 seconds in between, like, unilateral. just to make sure you get the most out of both sides, right? Should never be in a rush. That's good. It feels good. So I didn't do any warm-ups on this, guys, because third exercise in, and I've been using this machine for the last fucking 2 years, so I don't really, just kind of went right to a working set. Got 10 on each side. That's good. We'll take a nice little break here and then try to do that again. But I do need to lift this seat up a bit because that wasn't hitting on my lat right where I want it. On a lot of these lat exercises, whether it's like a row or a pull down, you generally need the seat high to make sure that the hand is coming down here, so that your humerus, your upper arm, is coming down here. Because that's a function of the lat, right? Is to help bring that arm down, and that's how you're going to get that lower lat that you want. So you don't. And if the seat's too low, like I had it on that set, it can kind of become a bicep curl, right? So you're going to use more arm than lat. So make sure that your positioning is correct on these, right? So that you're hitting the muscle where you're supposed to. All right, so we're getting into a bit of mid back here. So obviously this is like my lat workout, but I'll always include one thing for kind of like mid upper back, just to touch on it. Today's Thursday, so then Sunday we'll come back and we'll do the upper back in hamstring day. So we'll probably try to get that one for you guys too, and then so you can kind of see the difference. But yeah, so we're gonna do this. We got one more for lats, and then we'll be on to the biceps. Something that we were just discussing was how my coach and I were kind of talking about how I need to kind of train more for my posing, which is going to be a big adjustment for me because the last couple of years I've just been worried about just adding slabs of muscle, training hard and heavy, eating lots of food. So the next 4 weeks, I'm really going to try to pay attention to how I'm doing my movements and how they kind of correlate with the poses that I do on stage. So we're going to do this like low seated row. And the emphasis here, I'm going to kind of use a lighter weight than I would normally use, and really think about like on my back lat spread, for example, you set up here, you kind of row back to show the detail in your lower back, and then you go into the lat spread. So I'm really going to try to emulate that on this exercise. So I'm going to go a bit lighter, really row in and think about kind of pulling back like I would on stage to kind of really show that lower back definition. Going to use a bit of a lower weight, like I said, so I can get that full range and really squeeze at the top. So yeah, let's give it a go and see how it feels. Okay. Yeah, that made it harder. God, definitely need to use. Probably gonna have to back off a little bit actually for the next one to get that again. But it's crazy, like when you just really focus on something, how much more you can feel it. Because I was really thinking about how I do that pose on stage and doing it with the refs, and I could literally feel like the striations like popping through on my lower back just then. So this is something now that I do this every week until the show. It's gonna make a difference. It's gonna make a difference in how tight that lower back looks, right? So yeah. No, my arms are good. Yeah, didn't say anything about my arms. They basically just said a little bit more lat, a bit more delt, which I know delt's definitely got to come up. I was surprised that they mentioned my chest because I honestly thought I had like one of the thicker chests up there, but at the same time, like, you know, these judges know that we want to get to the Olympia, so they're going to tell us what we need to do that. And it's like, I need to keep improving. Like, there's no doubt about it. Like, I know I'm one of the bigger guys. I have lots of muscle, but for my structure, I mean, I got to look at like Samson Dowda. Like, this guy got muscle falling off of him, like, you know? So that's a level we need to get at. So, but the muscle's going to continue to come. I mean, us bodybuilders, like, especially at this level, we're anabolic AF. So, you know, we'll catch after Germany, I'm sure we'll catch a rebound, get the weight up. We'll have time to do a short off-season blast. You know, try to put on a little bit of muscle, and then I'll be right back into prep. But I don't plan on getting super big after these shows. I want to keep things tight because I know the biggest thing for me is bringing that waist in, right? So if I keep my food on the lower side for a long period of time, my waist will naturally come in, especially with all the core work and stuff I'm going to be doing. And if I still have all the muscle I have now in this structure with a smaller waist, everything else is going to look bigger, right? So that's what we're going to do.
Hiç Gasp var bulundu.
Another one in the books, the road to Germany. So we're going to be putting out lots of content, guys. I'm going to try to do 2-3 videos a week for you guys for this one because I know a lot of you guys weren't very happy that I kind of like stopped doing the vlogs and stuff leading to the show. But the fact was, guys, like when I'm on the road like that, if I had Laura with me, it would have been different. But she was with Q, and rightfully so because he was tearing shit up. But it's hard to focus on my business and all the prep stuff and making sure I'm doing everything I need to do and get the content myself, right? So we're hopefully gonna have a Laura in Germany with us. So that's a goal, and we'll be keeping you guys updated right up until the show. So, but until then, we got 4 weeks, lots of content coming out. So if you haven't subscribed, subscribe, and if you like the video, like it, and if you guys want to comment below anything in particular you want to see, I know the answer is going to be the Dave eating video, so I'll make sure I do some of those for you guys. But yeah, guys, once again, thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.